business on display. Yeah, 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 yeah. We gon' put your business on display. I got winners on the way. You know you can't knock the hustle. And if you gotta get in place, and we gon' put your business on display. Grab a seat with Nisha for a minute. And if you got the goods, we can talk about your business. She know what it's like to make a move independently. And I don't fake it's like that. We've been trusting God like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display.
Hey everybody, how are you? Nisha here with Insightful Moments with Coach Nisha with Nisha's Network. Super excited to be here today. Excited about my guest today. As many of you all know, I have been in the salon industry for the past 30 years. That's a long time. And I have met some phenomenal people along the way. I have had the joys of sneaking in other places to get my hair done just to see what other people are doing and trending, and other businesses to see what their salons look like. Um, and I don't really allow other people to really tap into my head because of the fact that I'm kind of finicky and I like messy hair. I don't like stuff so perfect. Um, but I've had the privilege throughout the years of meeting some pretty phenomenal people. And today I'm going to have a conversation with one of the most phenomenal people that I met. Um, she's young, she's fly, she's spicy. So if you are watching this today, we would love for you to hit share. And we are going to go ahead and talk about the joys and of beauty and business with none other than my friend and current sometimes hairstylist, if Nisha's not doing it, none other than Miss Elisa Gordon,
Hi, Nisha.
aka Jazzy. Look, I messed up your pretty hairdo. Jazzy did my hair today, and it's absolutely bouncing and behaving and fabulous. Thank you, Jazz. Love
You're
it.
welcome.
She always gets me to do something a little new. And actually, when I go see you, it's because I'm literally wanting some time to sneak away and quiet myself and just have some quiet time, which most people say, you're so busy, you need to rest, you need to do this, you need to do that. They don't know I sneak away. And Jazzy better not tell when I sneak.
I won't.
Well, welcome to Insightful Moments with Nisha. I would love for you to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Hi, my name is Elisa. I go by Jazz. I've been a hairstylist since 2017. I started out doing hair in Kansas and I relocated back to Chicago about 12 years ago. I wanted to relocate. I wanted to be in a big city and I wanted to grow my business. So I came back to Chicago and I've been back ever since.
And you are definitely back. Now, I want to talk a little bit. First of all, Jazzy has a old soul. Let me just say that she's a young woman in a wisdom woman's body because she's so old fashioned to me. Now you are spicy by all means, and a diva at your own right, but you have such a heart of gold. But one thing I want to say is that I think she's like a mama. She love to care. She cares for everyone. And tell me where that stemmed from, Jazzy, because I think you're the youngest, right, of your siblings.
Yes, I'm the youngest of six. And where did it come from? Watching my mom. I'm her mini me. My mom was very nurturing and caring, and she cared for everybody. She was the definition of a missionary. And when I was young, I went where she went. When she went to take care of people, I was right there with her. So I'm a mini me of my mom, and I wear it with a badge of honor.
Okay. And I know that, but when I hear you, when I hear you, you are definitely that person that is always telling people what to do or planning this or planning that. And you're just the show up queen. That's what I would call you. And can cook. That's the other thing. A mean cook. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the joys of beauty and business. And when I met Jazzy through a mutual friend. And what made you decide to go into this industry, period?
Okay, so to be honest, I never wanted to do hair at first. I wanted to go to college. I majored in political science. I wanted to go to law school, all of those things. But when I was in college, I worked at a factory with my sister, and she would hear people say they need their hair done. And she would come home and say, "Oh yeah, I told somebody you gonna do their hair." And I was like, "What? Who told you I want to do somebody's hair?" She said, "Well, they gonna be here on Saturday, so that's how I kind of started." And then she started telling people how much they were gonna pay me. So it just started from there. And then I've always been a hustler, so I was like, "Well, I'm making money." So it just came second nature. I just started doing hair. It started out with braids, and then it started out with sew-ins, and then it started out with I'd rather do hair than go to class. So I was just like, well, I guess this is what I want to do. But it wasn't until I enrolled in cosmetology school when I felt like I was exactly where I wanted to be, needed to be, and doing exactly what I needed to be doing.
Wow. So first of all, let's just say that you were in college and you still have your degree, your bachelor's degree, right?
No, I didn't finish. I decided to withdraw my junior year and enroll in cosmetology school.
Okay, but then you decided to go and teach school too for a period of
Right. So I got into the school system when I moved to Chicago and I was trying to build my clientele. And I was working at a shop and working at Rush Hospital overnight. And I did a principal's hair one day. And I would get off in the morning, go straight to the shop and do her hair on some Fridays. And she was like, "Man, I just feel really bad that you got to work so hard. You get off work and you come straight to the shop." She said, "I'm an assistant principal, but I'm going up for a principal position. If I get this job, I want to give you a job." And I was like, "Okay," but I was thinking in my head, I don't want to work with kids. But I went to a mafia party, and this lady prophesied to me, and she told me, "I see you in the classroom. I see you working with kids." And I was like, "Okay." And maybe about a month or so later, the lady got the job. She called me. She gave me a position as a TA. And then I started subbing. And then I finally landed a full time position. So I basically did hair and worked for CPS for 7.5 years.
Wow. Wow. So in that time, you still did hair at the same time.
I did.
Okay, I don't know how you did that.
I
But
don't know.
finally you just decided to stop. So you've opened and closed salons and you have your own business now. Tell us some of the joys of being in business for yourself.
So it just feels good to wake up and work for yourself. And basically I had worked in a lot of different shops. I learned a lot from some people that I wanted to good things, and I also learned some things like if I ever opened a shop I didn't want to do. And I think the last shop I worked in before I opened my shop, I was like, "This is it. I'm opening up my own shop." So what I did was I left the shop, I went home, I did hair for a year. I told myself I was gonna give myself a year, and a year later, I opened my shop. And I brought in a lot of young ladies. When I first opened my shop, I was in there by myself for like 3 months, and I remember praying like, "Okay, Jesus, I need you to bring me some people in here because I can't do this by myself." So I called my mom one day, like, "Mom, you gotta pray with me that God sent me some people." And she said, "Lisa, I'm praying." Then the next day, she called me and she said, "Miss Pearl said Daphne is looking for a place." And I was like, "Man, why did I think of Daphne?" So then Daphne came in with me. And then after that, I had Daphne. I had a full salon. I had four stylists, two estheticians, and a nail tech.
Wow.
And it just felt good because everyone who came in, they had a need, and I was able to help them. Like the nail tech, she didn't have anything. She just finished school and she was ready to do nails. And one day, I had a friend call and say somebody was closing down their nail shop. So I went and bought everything I could buy out of there for her so she could get started doing nails, and that's just how it went.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I think that's so amazing. You have to have, well, but to be in this industry alone, you have to have a gift that keeps on giving. You can't just like think that you're just, it's all about me. I think that's the gift and the love of the industry in cosmetology and the beauty business. But I want to talk a little bit about and fast forward. I hear you talking to your siblings. You sound like the mama, even though they're the older siblings. And I know in the last couple of years you lost your mom, And let's just talk a little bit about who your mom was to you and how did that affect you in business? Because you took off for some time to go help take care of her. And I think that's phenomenal. And so I want you to just talk a little bit about that with just how you had to walk through that season of grief, but still, sustain your business. And I know you didn't care about the business at that point, but just share a little bit.
So it was February of 2020. We had just given my mom a 70th birthday party, and then a week later, she found out she had stage 4 pancreatic cancer that had spread from her liver to her lung. So she got that news on a Friday. I got the news on a Friday. She had a follow-up appointment the following Wednesday. I drove down thinking, we're gonna go down there and she gonna do some chemo and she gonna bounce back. And when we got there, the doctor said that she was gonna die. They gave her a 6 months lifespan, and for me, my life just crashed. Like you said, I didn't care about the business. I just like letting my clients know that this is what it was. My mom was sick, and I was gonna be here to take care of her until God knows when. And COVID ended up happening, so the salons and everything were shut down. So it was like a blessing and a curse at the same time. And then I did lose my mom 23 days after we found out she had cancer. And my mom was my rock. She was my mom. She was my best friend. She was my spiritual mom. She was my confidant. She was my secret keeper. So losing her was very, very difficult. It's been difficult, but she was my strength. And with her not being here, she's still my strength. I find strength in talking about her. I find strength in grieving her. I just keep going. And when I do have moments where I feel like I can't go on, I hear her saying, "You gotta go on," because that's what her thing always was. When I had issues and I would talk to her about it, she would say, "Lisa, you just gotta keep going. You just gotta give it to God and just keep going." And that's what I do, and that's how I've been able to deal with it. Just giving it to God and keep going.
So even though you keep going, what do you recommend for people to keep persevering, even in the process of grief? Like I know you hear your mom, but so many people don't have a second person to kind of a community where they can actually keep going. So tell me a little bit about, your process, because some people, as you know, I mean, we've been transparent. My family's going through grief, and I actually I'm seeing a counselor because it and 23 days is very short time to
Hmm.
not have, but the beauty of you all giving her a 70th birthday party, no signs of sickness, healthiest person walking around, and then lo and behold, this happens. You know, how have you carried on? What do you recommend for people that really are struggling with grief?
So I do feel like people should get counseling. But I just feel like God is my counselor. Pray, talk about it, cause that's what gets me through it. My siblings, they don't talk about it a lot. I talk about it more, and I talk about her more than they do. But I just got to be honest and say God is my rock. He's my strength. I just pray and give it to Him and just keep my faith in Him, knowing that He will get me through all, because that's what I saw my mom do. When she went through trials and situations, she stayed on her knees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I do. I just stay on my knees and I go before God and ask Him to give me the strength, lead and guide me, and keep going.
Okay, all right. Well, I know if you guys are just watching, we're here with the beautiful Elisa Gordon, aka Jazz, and salon owner and hairstylist. But also, I think that thinking about your mom, and I don't know if you were doing this before, but I've talked to Elisa, especially Jazz, during COVID, about just staying healthy, and we had our conversations about vaccinations and different things like that. And when I went into your salon space, you always just had this confidence. It was just like, you know what, God's got me. But also, you talked about putting the appropriate things in your body. And the reason that we topic this, the joys of beauty and business, because Jazz is not just your typical hairstylist. She is your naturopathic doctor. She's your educator. She's your chef. She's your hairstylist. She's your counselor. She's your confidant. But I want to talk a little bit about how I've purchased elderberry juice from you. I've purchased sea moss. I've purchased things. I purchased some tea, I think, before to help
Hmm.
detox. Talk to me. Did any of the fact that sudden illness came about, or even COVID, have anything to do with you learning about herbs and different things to strengthen your body, or even being a hairstylist? What made you decide to go into more natural things about health?
So I've always been a little bit conscious, but not like I needed to be. But um, I have a cousin, and he is studying to be a holistic doctor. But at the time that my mom got diagnosed with cancer, he was a herbalist, and the cancer was very aggressive, so it was having a toll on her very quickly. And the doctors had given up. They didn't want to do a biopsy. We had to push for a biopsy. They just weaned chemo out. Like there was nothing they could do. So my cousin was like, he knew some remedies. He said, but the cancer was kind of aggressive and had taken a toll. But he could guarantee that while she was here, she would have more quality of life. So my mom would just sleep a lot. Didn't have a taste for food or anything. But watching him give her herbs, putting her on an alkaline diet, and doing homemade chemo. He did a chemo out of baking soda and water and maple syrup. And I just watched how she was able to get up. She was able to give herself a bath, just things that had totally um she couldn't do anymore. I just watched how she was able to do those things. She would sit up and read her Bible, and I was just amazed about it, and how we could check her pH and her body would be alkaline. And so I just saw the change very quickly with just being natural and
Hmm.
just giving my mom herbs and alkaline diet, that she was getting out of the bed. She was sitting up. She was willing to try to exercise and move her limbs. That it worked. But like I said, the cancer was stage 4. It had moved throughout her body. So it was a little late. But I do feel like if we had more time, if we had known in more time, she would have had more time. So to me, that just stood out. It said a lot. And from there on, like I was in belief that the herbs work, and it's worked for me through COVID. I haven't had COVID the past couple of years. I'm not vaccinated, and I just take my herbs every day.
You take your herbs every day, and I know
Every
that
day.
sometimes we fall off a little bit and don't take them. But I want to say that I've watched you be a testament of standing your ground, and that's one thing that I want to say also is that you're still single for now. And one thing about you that I honor and respect is you always mention your mom. Like my mom would be like, no, he is not the one or whatever. But I think that you stand your ground about your standards of what you're looking for God to send you. And I wanted you just to share a little bit about that. Just like, the standards that you talk. I mean, I promise you, you talk like a wise old woman, but in a young woman's body who just really speaks volumes to the healthiness of what you want to see for even your nieces and your nephews and different things like that. So tell us a little bit just about, while you're waiting, why the joys of waiting on God and still yet believing and not putting it up. Because I hear so many people say, well, it's just not in the cards for me. But Jazz, you still talk about having children and having a full life. And that's what I love. And I love anybody getting around anybody that's got some hope, because if you don't have hope, then you might as well hang. No, I shouldn't say that. I love to encourage people. That's what I'll say. Okay, go ahead, Jazz, and just share a little bit about taking a stand and just walking out this journey.
Well, my mom did used to always say that nobody was the one. So I asked her one day. I said, "Well, Mama, do you think he gonna knock on my door and say Jesus sent me?" She said, "Yeah, he will." So I said, "Well, if somebody knock on my door and say Jesus sent me, we going straight to the courthouse and get married because I know he the one." But I just grew up in a two-parent household. It was perfectly imperfected. My parents had issues, but they worked through them. My sister got married young. Her husband had issues. They worked through them. My brother-in-law died about 5 or 6 years ago, and I just have had strong marriage examples. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I look for. Um, and I just look for a God fearing man, a provider, a hard worker, respect. You know, somebody that just don't believe in God but have a relationship with God, so that he can love me like God say love the church, and I can submit like I'm supposed to. So
Okay,
that's
girl.
so that's just what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna wait. And I'm happy, patiently waiting. You know, I haven't given up hope. I know I was created to be a wife and a mother, so I'm gonna wait on God. I'm just gonna be in preparation, working on myself, so that I can give what I want to receive.
Okay. Well, I am so excited to have this conversation with you. It's just all aspects of the joys of beauty and business and just living life. And someone who I really honor and respect is none other than Elisa Gordon. And she is an amazing hairstylist. Okay. I will say that. And somebody that cares about the hair and is not competitive. Like she just said, she will help people. And I really appreciate that. Before we bring our conversation to a close, one of the things I wanted you to share about was pretty much what do you recommend for young people that want to go into this industry? You know what I mean? Because you know they don't make them like
They used to, yeah.
they used to in terms of hairstylists and cosmetologists, estheticians. They don't, and unless you have a little seasoning in the game. So how could you encourage people that want to get into this career?
So basically, just make sure it's something that you really want to do. And you got to be focused, and you got to be determined. You got to work diligently. You got to understand the highs and the low of the business. You got to plan for a rainy day, because this is a very seasonal business. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. And for me, I just will target your market. You know, for me, my market is the working class. Because I have a lifestyle to keep, so I need some visual income coming in. So I mean, I can do the sew ins, I can do the crazy cuts and curls, but I just focus on people who are professional, who have to look good on a daily basis, and people who care for their hair. Because if you care for people hair, they'll keep coming to you. Because most of the time, people who do have to look a certain way for their job, they care for their hair. You know, be able to talk to your clients about what's going on with their hair. Make sure you're very educated in what you're doing, because a lot of people don't know that sometimes the medication that they're on, it can cause hair loss. You know, you just need to know your job and know the business that you in, and that's pretty much it.
Yes, yes. Know the business you're in. What are some of the things that you recommend for clients? I mean, we have had our bout with clients as personality types and schedules and timing and different things like that. Um, what kind of clients should we look for? And you said target your audience, someone with residual income, and everybody, that's not for everybody. There's a fast life too. But I think that that's one of the things I try to share with the mentees is that you want people that are going to follow you all the way and not just get their hair done seasonally. You know what I mean? So, what are some of the things you could recommend to the clients, not to the stylists, but to the clients? We're going to talk about the stylists in a minute, but the clients as well
About picking
about
out.
showing out for hairstylists. Exactly.
So I would like for the clients to give the same respect and courtesy they require from us. You know, respect our time like you want us to respect your time. If your appointment is at 5:30, be there at 5:20, because if your appointment is at 5:30 and I'm gonna get there at 5:50, you're gonna be looking at me like she's unprofessional, she's not on time. And then also give your stylist a little grace, because we do work out our schedule to be accommodating to our clients. You
Yeah.
know, and sometimes things do happen on our side because we are self-employed.
Yeah.
So it just has to be a good lines of communication and a good lines of respect. So respect your client, respect your stylist.
Now let's talk about the other part of the stylist because I really professionalism is like the key thing for me is how people treat you, what type you attract the clients you attract people like you. That's my motto. I think if you are late, you're gonna attract late. If you are not a wise steward over your monies, you're gonna attract people that are not wise stewards over their monies. If you are messy at the mouth, you're gonna attract people like that. What do you think about that? Now that's just my MO. I don't know, everybody's not like that, but I want people to come in and feel like it's a safe environment, relaxed business, great customer service, and then leaving with healthy hair on top of that.
Exactly. I feel like hair care has sort of kind of gone out the window. A lot of it right now is about money.
And people on
And
YouTube telling us how to
say that again.
people on YouTube telling us how
Telling us how to do hair.
right.
Exactly. Um, so yeah, I just feel like stylists should be more professional. They should care more about the hair and not the money. Right now, it's a money hustle right now. Sell a dream on YouTube, and then they or on Instagram or Facebook, and then they come and it's not all that it's cracked up to be. And that's another reason why you see your clients jumping around from
Yeah.
chair to chair too. So you have to be consistent as a hairstylist. You're gonna be professional. You're gonna be on time. You're gonna care for your client's hair. And if you do that, then you will get the same type of clients. And I always pray for my client. I say, God, please don't send me no mess. Send me good clients. All money's not good money.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can release you because of I feel like, hey, I don't feel like I'm the stylist for you. Maybe you need to look around because all money ain't good money. If I'm making $100 off doing your hair and I got a headache when you leave,
So that's a good thing, because one of our stylists at NK Artistry, me and Ebony co-own it. It was one of the clients said one of the things like I have to fire my client. How do you do that? Like I've never done that. I never have said I cannot do your hair anymore. I think people weed themselves out. But how do you say that? How do you fire people?
I have fired. Girl, I fired a whole family before. The mama, the daughters, and then the cousins left with them. But it was just like entitlement, impatient, impatientness, rudeness. The rudeness was so thick that my clients felt it. So I just sent a text message. I was like, hey, how this is what I feel. I feel like maybe I'm not a good fit because this is how I operate. And I feel like maybe if this doesn't work for you, you may want to find you another stylist. And they did. And I had to do that with another client. She was having a hard time finding a babysitter. So when she came in, she wanted to rush, 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 rush me. So I had to send her a text message like, hey, I understand that, life has its issues, but maybe you need to find someone else because you can't get to your babysitter in time or they give you a time frame. And you got to give yourself at least an hour and a half or 2 hours in the beauty shop if you're getting your hair done. So I
Mm,
told her, you was being a little rude today. You was being a little rushy today. I don't rush when I'm giving anybody service. I ain't gonna rush on your head. I'm not gonna rush on a person before you or after you. So if there's something that I can't work in your time frame, then maybe you need to find someone else. But she apologized. She said she was being rude because she was having a hard time finding the babysitter, and she's still with me. So she figured that part out.
wow.
So it's just all about communication and getting everything you say out with respect, and being firm.
And standing your ground, I'm sure.
Yes.
So you guys, I have had an amazing conversation with Jazzy Elisa Gordon. She is a salon owner, a stylist, an herbalist. I'm gonna call her the counselor, the woman of wisdom, and so much more. And if you guys are interested in reaching out to Jazzy, please feel free to reach out to her. She is available via email at jgordon
Stylist
stylist
at
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. So yes, we'll make a change to that. jgordonstylist at gmail.com. And Jazzy, what if you could really just what's like kind of your life motto? You know how people have a thing that they say all the time or they live by. Um, what is that for you?
I got a couple of them, but the one mostly I just be true to myself. I wake up in the morning time and I got to be true to that person I look in the mirror at. And the one my mom grew up teaching us was you treat people the way you want to be treated, that you know better than nobody and nobody's any better than you. So that's just the way I live. I just be true to myself and I treat people the way I want to be treated. And I know that I'm not better than nobody else and no one's better than me. We all equal.
Yes.
We all are somebody.
Well, I thank you for joining me with this conversation today. It's been so insightful.
Thank you.
I know people, I'm seeing chats in the comment. People are excited about what we've talked about, and it's probably going to spark more conversation. But if you guys are looking for an amazing stylist, she is in the Beverly Evergreen Park area in Chicago, Illinois. Please reach out to Jazzy Elisa Gordon at jgordonstylist@gmail.com. You can find her and be on the lookout for her website for all of her herbs and herbalists and all those things that are coming up in very, very soon. You will not be disappointed. Okay. Thank you, Jazzy, for joining me today.
Thank you, Nisha, for having me.
All right. Hold tight. Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you guys soon. God bless.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh.